all right, so there's no character here, but
no, there's a character there.
there's no real thing here. But
yeah, no, there is actually a real thing there.
I know. Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry, I'm tripping you up. I know, but
yeah,
because
there is a real thing.
If I don't, what you're about to say will be based on an assumption.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
there is absolutely, Lizzie, something here that's real.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there is. Yeah, and there is also a character that's here, but the character is not real. And that is here and is real, yeah, the character believes it's that is here and is real. The character believes that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it got very murky because I did this experiment, I thought, okay, well, fair enough. I can accept that there's a lot of imagination happening here. But what I see is also imagination. So all these so-called people expressing whatever they were expressing, that's not real. In fact, it was quite funny, because there does seem to be this undercurrent of humor in whatever goes on, and this is what I seem to perceive. But then there was a character, and it was actually on the movie, who was expressing great grief, and all of a sudden the humor disappeared, and the fact that I would be saying, oh, you're not real, what you're doing isn't real, that disappeared too. And it was like I would betray her if I felt that what she was saying wasn't authentic, what she was feeling wasn't authentic. Do you know? So yeah.
I do. Okay, but expressing is happening. There's just not a person doing any of it.
But I see a person doing it.
Yeah.
And the personal aspect of that means I have to take it seriously.
Yes. If you're taking yourself to be a person, you better damn well take others to be a person and take that seriously. Yes. Yes. Otherwise, you'll get into all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. But you also don't really get much insight so long as you take them as being real people. And yeah.
Correct.
And yet I can't not do that because I feel some obligation, like you say, take them seriously,
Yeah. Based on your conditioning, though. It would still all be based on your own conditioning as to what to and what not to take seriously.
Yes, well, yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be based on somebody else might do the opposite to you.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
And they're convinced that what they're doing is correct, and you being convinced of what you're doing is correct. Yeah. So it's still based on conditioning. But, it's not, Lizzie, that what, if you look at, let's just for argument's sake say a group of people, yeah, it's not that what you're seeing isn't happening, yeah, because it is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's not happening is what you think is happening. That's all. And what you think is happening is there's a you here observing a group of people, and those groups and all those people are all individuals, and they're all doing stuff. Yeah. Now the doing that you're witnessing is happening. Totally is happening. But there's no individual doers. It's just, now, how do you come to know that? When you inquire into self and realize there's no doer here. When that's fully cognized, yeah, you're off the hook and everybody else is off the hook. Yeah, but it's got to start with you.
Now, how can it start with me when the focus is external, you know, most of the time?
Well, yeah, then that focus will either turn around or it won't until you suffer a bit more.
Oh no, Terry, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm truly done with suffering. Not that it goes away or anything, but oh shit.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you suffer anymore. I'm not. Fuck that.
I feel the flames of hellfire as you speak. Yeah.
It's, you know,
Mm.
it's a bit, you know, like when you look at an anthill, yeah, tiny little ants, okay, and you look at it as a whole, yeah, there seems to be a rhythm and a movement to it as though it's actually kind of one movement. Yeah.
Yeah, or birds flying in the sky.
Yeah. It's like there's like one movement. Yeah. Or you could indeed, you know, if you got up high enough above the city, looking down on the city at 8:30 in the morning when everyone's spewing out of trains and trams and cars and taxis and all these little people all running into a building or walking into a building. Yeah. They go into a building and then, I don't know, 11 o'clock happens and a few people spew out again because it's morning tea break. And then in they go again. Yeah. But if you're up high enough and you view it, it looks like a singularity.
Yeah.
Just looks like one mass intelligence moving. Yeah. And that is indeed what is happening. That is what's happening. Yeah. We come down to this, you know, the finite level, the street level, and we look at a person and we think that there's a person there. That's not, that isn't a part of that singularity, that single movement.
How does that happen then? How is that change made?
How does it change me?
The change of perception, the change of belief, you know, how does that happen?
Yeah. Ultimately, you've got two paths. Yeah. One is self-inquiry, and the other is just pure absolute devotion. Two paths. I try and mix them a bit. Yeah. But it's mostly self-inquiry that gets used here. Yeah. You know, how was the question? Just with the truth, Lizzie.
Yeah, but, or at least, why does that perception happen? You're seeing it all as one great group movement. And then when you pick an individual from that, you don't see that anymore. You see something completely different.
Yeah, that's because we believe I am finite. And the person standing opposite me is also finite, an individual. I'm an individual and that person there is an individual. Yet if I was in that group of people on the ground, somebody else up in the sky, I'd be a part of that movement. But I'd be thinking, whilst I'm a part of that movement, like that one intelligent movement, I'd be thinking, no, I'm separate from everybody here and I'm running my own show. Imagine an ant thinking that. Think about it.
Well, you know, there was this singer recently, and there was a few people died in the crowd that was watching him because there was a crush in the crowd. Well, those people who were being crushed would certainly think they were individual.
Yeah. Everybody does. Everybody does. And there's a handful of us, Liz. And who knows what the reason is? It doesn't matter. There's a handful of us that get drawn to this. And that too is just one of the trillion things that's happening amongst all other things that are also happening. Did you ask for this? Like, really? Did you ask to be, find yourself? Well, if I take myself, yeah, I didn't ask to be all fucked up and then, need to inquire into spirituality and to try and fix myself or to try and save myself from being so fucked. I didn't ask for that. I certainly didn't ask for non-duality. I didn't ask for any of it. It fucking happened. I didn't ask for this. Yet it all happened. Yeah. That's how many of us sitting here are currently leading their absolute ideal life. It's perfect. Just the way I wanted it to be. Exactly the way I wanted it to be. How many of us sitting here? No one would put their hand up. No one would put their hand up. Yeah. If there was a person like that, they wouldn't be here.
No.
For everything would be perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a matter. So it really, Lizzie, it's a matter of coming back to the truth. Yeah. Like, if I'm the doer, Jesus Christ, I fucked up. I did nothing but fuck up all the time. If I'm the doer.
Yeah,
my whole life.
I can identify with that.
Yeah.
I mean, just on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
Just because, even if you make a decision, it's all those other decisions that you didn't make.
Yeah.
Could have made that might have been righter, better.
Yeah.
And this kind of this cloud of torment follows you around in your life,
I know. Can't even drink my coffee. Yeah. So that's why I, often start with, we better check out this idea of free will, because free will implies I'm the doer. Action, I'm the doer. So we've got to examine that. Yeah. And usually in that needs to be examined until we're absolutely convinced and can absolutely see from truth, I'm not the doer. I do not have free will. That's got to be seen. Yeah. Because until that's seen, we will continue to take ourselves to be the doer, which also implies a seeker. And now I'm a seeker as a doer on the non-dual path, trying to find non-duality, and me being me as a doer, I'm bound to fuck up. I'm bound to fuck this up. Fucked everything else up.
Yeah, I mean, results show this to be true. So why would it be any different? Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. So
the thing is, while you're busy fucking things up, there are people around you holding you to account and and putting out for you the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
So you can have a look at how fucked up you really did that.
Yeah.
And in the face of all this, to examine the truth, even though we haven't got the volition to do that, it just happens. I mean, it seems like an impossible task, to me.
Yeah. Like, for a human being, it's completely impossible. It's not possible. For a person, it's not possible. Not possible. See, as a person, we start from the premise, I am a person. Now I'm going to learn about non-duality. Yeah. Whereas where we should be starting, the premise that we should be starting from is that I'm looking for, I already am. Now let's go and discover what I'm not. Let's come to finally see what I'm not. that can be seen. We can discover that. And we can talk about that. Try talking about the absolute. What are we going to say about it? What could you possibly say about it? And indeed, what could you possibly say about it that would be any good to a lowly little fucked up me?
Well, yeah, actually, but it does come with a sense of peace sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, for sure. But for most people, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They don't get to experience those moments of peace, Liz. They don't. Yeah. And they're not missing out on anything because they've never experienced it. So they don't know. Whereas us, we scramble onto this path and we have these moments of peace and calm and stillness and silence, but they're moments, it goes away and we're like, what the fuck happened? I want that back. I want that back. What have I done wrong? Oh, I fucked up again. Yeah. So it's kind of like ignorance is bliss for people that haven't tasted this. Yeah. But for people that have tasted this, it's that keeps them pursuing after it. But often the mistake we make, instead of moving forward, we're wishing for the old blissful experience to come back. That's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. We've got to be able to let, no matter how good the experience is that we've had at any given point in time, when it shifts, we find we've kind of fallen back into the self-centered person again. We've got to be prepared to let go of that experience and not want it back. Let it go. Let it go, let it go. And then now we're here in the moment, brand new and fresh again, for the next one to come through. And each time it happens, it's brighter. Why would you want the old one back? Why would you want the old peaceful, calm, still experience when the one that's coming next is going to be better? Why do you want the old one back? A couple of reasons. We don't trust that it's going to happen again. And we try and work out a way of reigniting that old experience again. And all that does is keeps the me there. Keeps the veil there. Keeps the seeming person there. Yeah. So we've got to be able to let go. Like, let go. Yeah. But really there's, this idea of being a doer, this idea of being a mover and shaker, this idea of being the seer, hearer, taster, toucher, smeller.
Thinker.
Pardon?
Thinker.
Yeah, or thinker, yeah. That's where the inquiry is. That's what we're inquiring into.
These thoughts, Terry, in a way, it's like sometimes I have to have a position. I have to take a position. Otherwise, I can't move forward, But having taken a position, I'm now stuck with my position in order to make sense of my life. And and as what happens, other thoughts come streaming in, which do not reinforce the position I've taken, but quite contrary. And then I'm in this like broiling sea of various points of view, endless points of view that occur to me, And it's like you sink amongst it.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion, for God's sake. But yes, it's going on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Are you convinced yet that you're not the doer?
No, not at all.
Good.
Not
Good.
in the face of what
Good.
I experience.
Good. That's why I like working with you, Liz. You just say it as it is. Yeah. Okay. So that's where the work needs to go. Nowhere else. Nowhere else.
But if I stop the thoughts.
No, you can't. I'm not asking you to stop the thoughts.
Okay.
And you can't stop the thoughts anyway.
No, I was going to say, ignore it.
Yeah. That's part of you seeing you're not the thinker. You can't stop the thoughts. Yeah.
But they still come.
Yep. Yep. But are you the creator of them? Are you the thinker of them?
No. Which I really then wonder, well, why does it happen if it's not me that's doing it? Why doesn't it just go away?
Yeah, it does and it can, but there's a few truths that need to be seen for it to go away. You can't, if you're still holding on to, and it's okay if you are, God, at least you're honest, yeah? If you're still holding on to this idea that I'm the doer and I have free will and I'm the thinker, yeah, then that's what we've got to unravel. Just that.
Yep.
And only that. Like any other time spent on thinking about anything else other than that is a complete waste of time. Because that must be seen.
Yeah.
It's got to be seen. Yeah. And I know it's tough, man. Like,
we see that's where I turn to for my decisions and my positions and my actions, therefore, in the world.
I understand, but that's an illusion. You're not turning to it. You're not turning to it. And decisions that need to be made and actions that need to happen and so on and so forth are just happening. It doesn't need you to step in and intervene and ask yourself, or get involved in thinking and say, well, I'm gonna do that instead of that. You don't need to.
Well, it sure does seem as if that's what I do.
I know. Now you've got to start experimenting.
When I look back, of course, Terry, it all seems to have been decided without my being there.
Yeah.
In the process of it, it's not like that.
Yeah. You've got to challenge it. You're good at challenging, Lizzie.
Yeah.
You're good at it. You know what it takes? Honesty. You might not think you're honest. You are so honest. You are, and it takes that. Yeah, the truth. Do you still feel like there's a me here, Lizzie? And you just go, absolutely, I do. And most people on the non-dual path, especially when they've been on it for a while, are too scared to admit that. They're too scared to admit it. And as a consequence, they stay stuck. And they're hiding. Yeah. Trying to behave like they've got something. And that they're somehow, more advanced than others that are on this non-dual path. It's bullshit. Yeah. Invariably, they end up crashing and burning.
I can do that anyway.
Pardon?
I do that anyway.
Crash and burn?
Yes.
Yeah, but...
because of the mind, because of the thoughts.
Yeah, I understand, but it's a bit different. You're open. You're at least open. Yeah. Mm. Somebody that's pretending to be awake, they're not fucking open at all. They're frightened to death. Yeah. And they don't want to be seen to not having got this. Especially when they've got a teacher that keeps sitting there saying, this is so obvious, guys. Oops. Yeah. Lizzie, the answer's in the basics. Like anything, martial arts, the answer's in the basics. It's in the basics. Tennis, it's in the basics. Yeah. So basics are, there's either a person here or not. Now, if there's a person here, it's got to have free will. It must have free will.
Yep.
If there's really a person here. Yeah.
Yep.
So coming back to the basics, that's what it is. That's where you keep coming back to that. Keep coming back to that. Look at it. Keep looking at it. Keep looking at it until it starts to reveal. It literally starts to reveal itself, Liz. You've just got to stay with the basics. Do I have free will?
You know.
Independent. Sorry, can I just add this?
Yeah.
Do I have free will? Independent of everything else. And I mean everything else. Do I have free will that's independent of everything else?
Well, I don't exist in the world independent of anything else, of everything else. So
free will, independent of everything else. In other words, is there something original that you can do all of yourself, by yourself, on your own, that's not dependent on another person or a thought or another thing or anything?
No, it's not right. No.
Good. So at best, all we're doing is that this seeming person is reacting.
Yes, and reacting to what is going down, because what is going down can be very unpleasant.
Yep.
But you have to somehow let it happen because you're not doing it, No,
it's not a matter of letting it happen, because that's taking a position as well. That's choosing as well.
Well, how can I?
So you'll find yourself, Liz, either doing something or not.
What about the anguish in the middle, which seems to be the habit form?
Yeah,
that either happens or not, too, presumably.
Yeah, everything is just happening or not. Yeah. And you're either hearing this or not. Something's hearing this, Lizzie. You wouldn't keep coming back here. You wouldn't keep turning up. You keep coming back. Something is hearing this. Yeah. Now, if you think you're the me, you'll easily say, well, I don't know if I'm hearing it or not. I don't know. I still feel like I'm the fucking doer. Yeah. It gets in. That's why I make comments like, relax, you're being done. Yeah. So, coming to discover what you are, forget that. That is not possible. It's not possible. So that type of thinking or approach must stop. What can we do? We can come to see what we're not. Now, what is it that would come to see what we're not? Only that we are. That we're looking for. That's hearing right now. Yeah. It's just that we've been taken to be the me, and it's not. It's your actual self. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always take my hat off to you, Liz, because you're straight. You're straight. And that's how you need to be. You know, no doubt you're frustrated. No doubt you experience fear. No doubt you experience confusion. No doubt. Yeah.
It's the life circumstances. I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
It's the life circumstances that cause that, not, the quest or the search or anything.
Yeah, well, if I don't mean to sound non-compassionate, Lizzie, but that you're calling life circumstances is just your own personal inner story that you're taking to be real. Otherwise, every single person on the planet would be affected just like you are. And they're not. They're not.
No, they're not. And they're in the same circumstance as me, they wouldn't necessarily be either.
Yeah, they can be different. They'll behave differently, think differently, be affected differently.
That's right.
They can be in the, like you said, the same set of circumstances, and yet, they can be different. Yeah. Now, the only thing,
sorry, Terry.
Yeah, that the only why is there a difference? Just the inner story, Lizzie.
Yeah, but that's what I think the trouble is with getting the mind to realize that it cannot ingest everyone's point of view and come up with an answer that's a combination of all those things. That's just not possible. But the mind seems to attempt this.
It does. Now, please stop that.
Oh God, yes, if only. It's exhausting, Terry.
It is.
And impossible.
Yes. This is the surrender, honey. There comes a point. I think there comes a point. Yeah. There is a realization. And don't be frightened to surrender. Don't be frightened to let go. Don't be frightened to find yourself in a position of knowing nothing.
Terry, there's an overlap here between surrender and positive thinking, which I get caught up in.
Yeah, positive thinking doesn't fucking work. Jesus, come on.
I know, but I mean, you sure are encouraged to do it and believe.
I know, sweet, but it doesn't work. And you know that.
Well, I know it's like putting a dirty face cloth over a clean sink or something, but I'm told that it works,
Sweetheart, come on. Look.
I mean, if you have affirmations saying, I am a fantastic person,
yeah, how's that go?
train your mind to believe that.
But it doesn't work.
Oh, I know it doesn't work. That's why I think it's only because I'm not doing it properly.
No, it's not a matter of you're not doing it properly at all. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
If it did, Liz, don't you think the human race would have cottoned onto that thousands of years ago?
Well,
that's how we hang on. And that's how we'd now naturally be evolved to be just positive thinking, and everybody be just walking around running on positive thinking.
Yes, I think that's what's happening. There's a whole group of pseudo beings out there doing the positive thinking stuff.
No, sweetie. Lizzie, it doesn't work.
No, I know it doesn't work.
Okay, so if you know that, don't think that the reason that it's not working is because you're fucking up with it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is because the mind cannot take a position and keep it for longer than a second day.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's how it seems.
And the most obvious thing, the mind works dualistically. You've got to have both there.
Yes.
Heaven and hell, fear and hate.
Yes. And you've got to experience them both at the same time, Terry, which is why you might go crazy.
Well, you can't experience them both at the same time. And even that we think we're experiencing in duality, none of it's real. It's not real. It all happens in mind. It all happens in our own private inner story. And every one of us sitting here has their own private inner story, Lizzie.
Yes.
Even people that are sitting in this group. We have our own private inner story. Your story is not going to be the same as James's. It's not. No matter how well you know each other, no matter how close you are, no matter how honest and open you are with each other, your inner story is going to be different. And you're still never going to know the full extent of James's inner story, and he's never going to know the full extent of yours.
No.
Yeah.
And lonely.
And the fucking story keeps changing.
Yes, I know, right before your very eyes.
It's a miracle that you can have two people stay together. How they're not clawing each other's eyes out is beyond me. Seriously.
Oh,
Like it's a crazy shit. So look, Lizzie, you're not fucking up.
No, it's such a difficult thing to let go of.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's so hard.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I absolutely appreciate that. Yeah. Look, it is difficult until it's not. Catching, experiencing from your own direct experience that you are not the doer. Okay, because the doing seems to happen and the me steps in a split second later and claims ownership of it. So you've got to be extraordinarily conscious and extraordinarily attentive to catch it. Yeah. It's like putting your hand on the hot stove. Yeah. Your hand is moving off that hot stove at lightning speed before it even registers to a me that the hand is burning. Before it registers to a me that the hand is burning. So it's something else that's responsible for lifting that hand off that hot stove. You can catch this. I'm not suggesting you go out and put your hand on a hot stove, but there are other things that happen and occur in life, you know, physical things that happen and occur in life where you can catch this, witness this that I'm saying. Yeah, the hot stove, the me can't move fast enough. It can't move fast enough. There's something else that moves that hand off that hot stove. And then a split second later, in steps the me and says, "Oh, I've burnt my hand." And yeah. But unless the me is in the hand, the me's not experiencing a burn. Is the me in the hand? Do you identify your personal self, your personal me, as living in the hand? So the experiencing of the burn is not the me experiencing the burn. Me just makes up a story about it. After it. A big story about it. And each seeming person will make up a slightly different story about it. The burning of their hand. Some people pull their hand and go, "Oh shit, I was supposed to do a gig tonight and play guitar. I'm not going to be able to do that now." That'll be one story. Yeah. I'll leave it to your imagination to invent all the other stories. Ponder it. All the other possible stories. Yeah. You know, fuck. If we were really this body, our next primary concern would be that we took our next breath. Or that my heart took its next beat. This amazing body is sustained and kept alive. It's got nothing to do with the me character. Zero. Witness that. That's a big tip. It's a big tip. Thoughts just arise. If I look at you, Lizzie, just for a moment, yeah, you're not responsible for the inner story that's going on in you. You're not responsible for that. You're not doing it. You never constructed it. Yeah. There's a whole pile of conditioning that started being piled in there, Liz, from the moment you were 18 months old, 12 months old. Yeah. You didn't choose your name. Your parents and how your parents were going to treat you as you were growing up as a child. That form of conditioning. Yeah. We think we're responsible for this me. We didn't even put it there. See it as programming. Just programmed in. Yeah. And then the programming acts and reacts. And how do we describe experiencing I? How do we describe experiencing I? What the hell's that? I. Just pure old I. Not I am or just I. In the English language, it's the word we use most often. I. What the hell is it? What is this I? Can you experience the I? How do we experience the I? Do we experience the I with our senses? What is it? This I. Now, who's experiencing existing right now? Thank you, Lizzie. Yeah, Deb. Yeah. Another word for that might be being. Is that reasonable? Existing, being? Yeah. Let's compare the two. The experiencing of being and the experiencing of I. Is there a difference?
Being feels more like it's everything. It's like the mind's referring to it's to do with the mind. The mind's referring to an image or whatever, it's contracted.
Yeah. We cannot say, I do not exist. I mean, you could say it, but it would be a lie. You'd have to be there to say it. You'd have to exist to say, I do not exist. So it would be a lie. Yeah. The being. Am I experiencing being? Life. Am I alive? Am I experiencing life? Am I experiencing being? Now, if you're not sure about that, yeah, let's compare, am I experiencing being with, am I experiencing I? What the fuck is I? Honestly, what the hell's I? Compared to being, being.
Maybe you could say that being is what the I does.
Sorry, Lizzie, say that again, honey.
Being is what the I does.
Being is what the I does.
Yeah.
Does.
Yeah, or what the I is, actually, I suppose.
Does it sound more reasonable that the I is the being as opposed to I just stands alone? I. You're right, Lizzie. The I is the being. It is the being. But the I, we take to be the me. That's the error right there. Yeah. What you actually are, what you are actually experiencing right here, right now is being. You're experiencing being. You're not experiencing an I as such. Is the I the being? Yes, but the being is palpable. Like you're alive. Life, you're alive. Being.